Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming again here. This would be a very specific, I would say, even a special format of video that I probably wasn't doing before on this channel. So I'm not sure how it goes basically, but I really want to make it look something like an interview. So you just imagine that you're watching an interview with Koma Kakin, with me. So kind of two things happened that actually made me to activate the activity yeah, to start making some videos for this channel as well, because I simply can't allow myself doing this video on my current main chess programming channel that I've been mentioning really numerous times here on Komakikin's channel. So as far as this channel, as many of you guys might think that this channel is about web scraping. It's not true. However, these 2,000 people actually think that this is about web scraping, but I mean, really, guys, it's not about web scraping. Komakikin is about Komakikin, and Komakikin means, I don't know what it means. It means just monkey see, monkey do principle. So it's the way how I learn, the way how I live, basically, and literally my path and the growth. So probably the most really interesting thing regarding this channel is just to have a look at the videos where I've started and then where I came to, basically, and this is very different, to say at least. So let's start with a very brief intro, and then I would be going to I will cover the main topic that I've prepared for you guys today. This is gonna be a little bit of a secret for now, so just to keep you a little bit intrigued. For those of you who didn't yet skip this video, because it's not about web scraping. So I can say for sure that there won't be any web scraping videos on this channel any longer, ever, because I'm completely done with web scraping, just like this video said. This is like farewell video where I said just I'm really done with web scraping, and I really am. So currently, so let's keep the interview format. So let's say you're asking Komakikin, like, Komakikin, what are you currently up with? How do you make money in this particular moment? And what the jobs do you have? And what have you been doing since you left web scraping and since the last video, basically? So let's take this as the question, and I will try to briefly answer that. So as I've been mentioning before, I've been up with chess programming, and now I've completely switched to that as, well, you can call it daily job. Well, in case of Komakikin, you know, like, I'm doing 90% of the content for free as always, but those 10% that remain actually enough for me to pay my bills and for living. So that's the obvious style of Komakikin as usual, basically. So after doing really well, let's start. I just want to show you the current state of my chess programming channel, just to give you an idea regarding kind of like what's going on there. So it's not that many subscribers, only 475 subscribers. However, if you have a look at the playlist, so oh my god, I would start talking now. Please don't. Nope, don't talk. Okay. And I want to go to chess programming channel. Okay, and don't talk here, please. Okay, so let's go to the playlists. So just to give you a brief idea of what I've done so far. So this is not the separate videos, these are the playlists. So one of my most kind of famous playlist is this 95 video tutorial series on Bitboard Chess Engine in C, probably given the vast majority of subscribers. Some blog videos, some Chess Engine games, another tutorial on how to make a hexadecimal 88 mode generator, which is array-based mode generator, how to make web application to run chess engines on the back end and communicate with the GUI, and how to use the USI protocol to play games between two engines. a very well. This is a single video, however, it's treated to be a playlist. The bare minimum chess program. One of the most popular videos on this channel is more than 1,000 views already, which for my channel is really quite pretty a lot. Some fancy stuff about efficiently updatable neural networks, which was on the cards the end of at the end of the last summer, basically. And my current main things are all regards to Chinese chess CNC. So I made a CNC game database. By the way, I've been using my web scraping skills for achieving that. Some fun videos where I try to play Chinese chess online. Here I'm creating the CNC engine in JavaScript. But before this, so the pivot point started when I actually dropped coding in C. Well, I don't mean like I drop coding in C, and I don't say that I don't code in C any longer. No, it's not the case. It just mean like I realized that the operating system, well, unfortunately most people use Windows, which I personally hate the most apparently. So, you know, like installing the GUI, downloading the engine, and if it's not compiled, you need to compile it. That's very, very complicated for non-programmers. So it's far easier to actually just open the engine in the browser and run it. Well, obviously, in that case, the engine is not that strong, not that fast, because JavaScript is much slower. It's around five times slower compared to C or C++. But anyway, the benefit is that user can see my work directly in the browser, trying to evaluate that from the human's perspective, and that's really good thing. Sorry. So everything started with the JavaScript engine. So I've ported, I made some sort of a hybrid of in this hexadecimal 80 mode generator and the search from this bitboard engine. And I've improved the search, so it's even better. It's better written. It's not faster because of JavaScript, but it's kind of better written. And this gave a boost to my engine, Ukun.js. And later, based on this engine, I've created my the current engine that kind of like I'm making money on, believe it or not, is my Chinese chess engine, which is called Ukun CNC, which is the derivative of Ukun.js. So it's the same search, but the mode generator has been written to actually play Chinese chess. So it has its own UI to play with. It also has some modifications to view the game, solve the puzzles. So I just probably leave the link in the description so you could have a look. So nothing really special here. So just has some legal move highlighting, so you can play Chinese chess. I don't know if I've been showing you this or not, but this might be really fun. You can even download the PGN, yeah. So I started promoting this project, and the first place where this project actually started to work is the cncenglish.com site. And I've created, well, how I call them, embedded Chinese chess diagrams. So like the author of this engine prefers using iframes, which is a little bit of a past century, but still in the cards. And he uses an iframe to actually embed my engine here, and also he has the variants for solving puzzles on his site where it goes to puzzles. So if you just go into puzzles and then go into like made in 2, say, and I have scraped a database of games, and I've generated some puzzles from those games. So this is one of the real world project. That's the reason why I'm talking about this. So let's say daily puzzles here, and after some theory and after showcasing some existing variants, it goes to giving user an opportunity to actually try to solve mates in 2. And it's quite pretty a lot here, so it's like more than 1,000 mates in 2. That's all the stuff I've done. So this is one of the first project I did for CNC, like for a client, let's say so. And actually, this guy introduced me to the owner of CNC.com website. His name is Paul English. He runs around, I don't know, probably 10 companies in America. He's this freaking rich guy. Yeah, so I'm working with his team lead, Abdullah. His name is Abdullah. And well, it's pretty early stage, but we do have so here my engine UkunCNC actually runs on cnc.com. So just to give you an idea that this is actually true, so we go just to the sources and have a look. So you see, like, my UkunJS is here. So this is the source of my engine, which works here on this site. So this is another real-world paid project. So it's gonna what I'm currently doing, not all of the time, but just to give you an idea. And some of my latest projects. So I came back to the minimalist approach, and again, I had a very so where is that? So yeah, here is the bare minimum chess program, and recently I've created a version 2.0 for this sort of an app, because I really find some interesting improvements. Okay, so let's move on. I'm sorry for talking from two places simultaneously. So see, like, it's quite, whoa, it's already almost 3,000. When I had a look at this, I know probably a couple of weeks ago, it was only like 1,000 and maybe 200 views. It's very popular, and also pretty lots of likes here. So yeah, it's kind of like probably one of the most popular video on the channel, believe it or not. And just to, yeah, so here is the version from the, yeah, it's actually, yeah, this is the updated version. So the version from the tutorial didn't have the move validation, so you could move to random places, but here it's already kind of like advanced version with move highlighting and all this stuff. Just to give you an idea, so if you have a look at the page source, it's very tiny app. So the entire engine is just a single function. Here it is, and this is it. And then the GUI goes, so just a few functions to make user move, take user move back, make engine move, and print the board, and this is it. And this minimalist, this tiny little amount of code actually gives this full, almost kind of like full-featured game of chess. Well, it doesn't have in peasant square capture and no castling, also under promotions to queen only. This is done for didactic, for simplicity and clarity, with the didactic purposes in mind. However, well, it's good enough, really. So based on this source code, I've created this. Well, literally, this is the iframe, and it kind of loads different derivatives of this basic variant of standard chess. So let's say I've implemented the bare minimum CNC, which is different from my UkunCNC. So this is a different app, and I do I do try to monetize this app the following way. So if you, let's say you try to go to standalone version, and if you have a look at the page source, you see like it's obfuscated. So I've been using the obfuscator, and also the graphics is bundled. That's the reason why we have so many strange characters here. The actual engine starts from here, yeah, and it's also quite pretty tiny. So I have a version with the meaningful commentaries and variable names, and that is paid. So that's another way of how to monetize like the work. So what I sell is not the app itself. The app is free. The source code is open. So you just can take this source code, try to modify this at your own risk, right? Nobody would be doing that, right? So the idea is just to sell the didactic value of the app itself. So that's what I'm trying to sell, basically. To be honest, this didn't really work yet, because I did this not very long time ago, probably a couple of weeks. So it really needs time to start working. But I really think this might be the case, actually. And yeah, to be honest, like I've realized that the only reasonable value of the software I'm producing is actually its simplicity, clarity, and didactic approach. So I decided that I can actually provide the free version, so you can do whatever you want with the code. But in case if it's not enough for you to use the code, you might if you actually want to know how it works, in that case you can actually buy this kind of deobfuscated version where with the meaningful commentaries, which looks like this. Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, so I've implemented a few variants. So I have simplified chess, I have Chinese chess, I have Thai chess, Makruk, which is a very interesting game on its own. Just encourage you guys to try to play it, very interesting. And also Korean chess. And here, well, Korean chess are very similar to Chinese chess, but they are way more complicated. I mean, from the rules perspective, the pieces are moving differently. Very complicated rules for cannons. So it's this very interesting game on its own. And yeah, it also do have some specifications for every single variant for those interested. So, and exactly the same story with the source code. So if you have a look at the source code, you see exactly the same obfuscated version here. So with the embedded graphics, obviously. So it's just kind of like a single HTML file that allows you to see this on the screen and to play actually Korean chess. Also some limitations regarding the rules, because the rules in Korean chess are really complicated, but nevertheless. So this is how I came to kind of like the pivot point and to the topic that probably would be the new vector of this GoMonkey Games channel. So I think you would be more than just surprised by what I'm gonna say just right in the moment. So after implementing, or maybe even before implementing, or maybe I would say during implementing this Korean chess, I've realized that, well, I realized two things. Well, the first thing is, in English-speaking world, nobody really cares about neither Chinese chess nor Korean chess, and doesn't really care about Asian chess variants in general. So they don't really care. They only care about the standard chess, and they want like Stockfish-like apps to be the strongest in the world. I personally consider that to be, I don't know, probably the most useless thing in the world. But it's okay that 99% of people think in a different way than I do. But this, for me personally, this doesn't obviously mean that they are right and I'm wrong. I think that I'm actually right, and they might not be always right, let's say so. So, are you ready, guys? Yes, so after doing this Korean chess, I have decided to start learning Korean. Yeah. So, you might wonder, like, how does this relates to programming? Well, it doesn't relate to programming. Let's be honest. It doesn't relate to programming. My ultimate goal at the moment is actually to be able to make videos in Korean. So I could have promoted my Korean chess engine. It's called Jangi in Korean. That's the name for chess. So I could have promoted this engine in Korean language for Korean auditory. And I have many interesting ideas like what to do with this sort of a thing. And the web interface is very, very important because, again, like they all use Windows, and making something operating system dependent when I'm on Linux and making something for Windows, this sucks really, so it's not the case. And I have some really revolutionary ideas, I believe, regarding like the GUI that would be running engine matches when the both engines would be written in JavaScript. So this might open a very interesting wide opportunity for engine makers, basically, because yeah, in the browser we can run this stuff on whatever device, including the smartphones or other touch devices. Even iOS is on the cards, because it's just a matter of the browser. The operating system doesn't matter at all, and we still have the relative strength difference for engines, because yeah, generally like from the absolute strength perspective, obviously it's not that strong as if it was running natively on the operating system. But I think this natural cross-platformness is worth it, really. So that's kind of some sort of an idea. But to be honest, like when I'm thinking about this, And you might think that like the initial goal of why actually to learn Korean is just, as I just said, just to be able to promote my Korean chess software to Korean people, potentially making chess programming videos on how to make Korean chess engine for Koreans, because I didn't see that sort of a content yet. It doesn't seem to exist actually. Even the standard chess programming content didn't really seem to exist that much, apart from the legendary chess engine in C by Richard Albert, also known as Blue Fever Software. Another couple more tutorials like in Java and in Python, one of the recent ones. A very good series in Go programming language, which nobody really knows about, apart from probably chess programming Wikipedia and Talk Chess Forum. But yeah, so not really that many content on chess programming itself, basically. But you might guess that for Korean chess, nothing there really. I've already started searching in Korean using the Hangul characters. Hangul stands for Korean characters, basically, yeah. And I didn't really find much. Well, probably, I know, I would be very surprised if I will find that. But recently I had a talk with some native Korean, and he said, like, there are no Korean chess engines in the world apart Fairy Stockfish, which plays Jangi as the variant. I told him that's not exactly the truth, because Harmgerd Müller actually created Korean chess engine for reinforcement learning purposes. He just wants to try some reinforcement learning with the evaluation function. That's the reason why he created the Jangi engine, because just like a new variant where he has no idea of what the evaluation should be, and that's the reason why he decided to pick up this variant for reinforcement learning purposes. Yeah, so, and that Korean guy was really surprised by this fact. And actually the third engine is this one. That you can now see on your screen. It's very minimalist. It's very weak, but it's Korean chess engine. Yeah, so that's really on the cards. And one of the trickiest things is that despite its small size, it actually can be used as the move validation library, which is very on the cards. So for GUIs, this might be really beneficial when you don't really need the huge libraries. Like, say, even my Wuku instance is quite pretty big engine. It's not big compared to Stockfish, obviously, but it has quite a plenty amount of code in it. While here, it's not really that big amount of code. So now, I don't know, I want to say maybe you can treat it as a joke or a fun thing, something that might be funny. Someone would probably not consider it funny, what I'm gonna say just right in the moment. So, like, the reason to start learning Korean seems to me very funny, because it really it can correlate with another reason to start learning Chinese martial arts around, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. So let's say around 15 years ago, maybe 16, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I wanted to start learning Chinese martial arts because I wanted to learn to fight. Yeah, believe it or not. But the most tricky thing that the more I studied traditional Chinese martial arts, the more I realized that it's not about fighting at all. It's about the lifestyle. It's about how to act naturally, how to live naturally, how to discover your internal nature, and how to apply that internal nature to your life, and how to be free. Yeah, that's the most important thing in Eastern spiritual practices. Basically, is just how to get free from these life circles, right? So what is called a samsara in Sanskrit. So how to escape this never-ending circle of when you die, when you're born, and then you die, and then you're born again, and then you die again, and so on. So it's very interesting to see that when you didn't yet start learning something or doing something, you have some goals that you might find very funny later on, when you understand that you no longer have those goals that you had when you just started. So And that's why it's already funny to me now, because I understand that the idea to learn Korean just to be able to deliver Korean chess to Koreans in Korean and making chess programming videos in Korean is good excuse, but it's just an excuse probably. So to be honest, I can't really explain the reason why I do want to learn Korean. I just like that. Well, I would say why I don't want to go and learning, say, Chinese. By the way, Chinese has much simpler grammar than Korean. Korean has a much simpler writing system. This Hangul characters are extremely easy to learn. I learned them in one day. Yeah, that's very simple. You can do this as well. So just one day and you can actually, well, read is a little bit too much, but you can recognize the characters and that's totally fine. So at least now if I see Korean text, I know all the characters. Yeah, I don't know the words meaning, but I know the characters, and in around, I don't know, probably 80% I can read them. Maybe not always that properly, but still I can read them. So yeah, it's very interesting that the initial goal that I currently have would most likely shift along the way. But you know, like the more I learn Korean itself. So just to give you an idea, I learned it for about maybe a week. Yeah, at the moment it's probably about a week. And you know, like I have recalled those times when I was learning English. There was, I don't know, I was a little kid when I just started learning English. This was really a long time ago. It didn't really give me much when I was a kid and when I was learning English. So the big leap in the development of especially talking skills, it was done like couple of years, a few years, like a couple last years, like this one and the previous one when I started YouTube. Yeah, so I just started talking in English every day, and I was talking by video calls with native speakers. Like it's mostly for my freelancing jobs, obviously, but that doesn't matter really. I even remember, like, I was trying to talk to a guy if I like how he sounds, like if I don't understand what he's talking about. So we discussed the job, but we were still keep talking just to practice English a little bit more. That was quite pretty fun. So I completely forgot how that feels to actually learn a new language, and it's not a new programming language. It's totally different. However, Korean is really it looks like, to me personally, it looks like more a programming language rather than a speaking language, but that's probably because that's the Asian language, and I didn't have experience with Asian languages before Korean. So yeah, so now we've come to the main sort of news probably that I wanted to share, is that I just want to start sharing my progress on Korean. And that's probably something that you don't expect from me and from this channel. And I will understand if many of you guys would unsubscribe after this video. It's totally fine. It's all on you. It's all on your earth, basically. So it's not a big deal, really. But I just want to emphasize the fact that, again, like, despite the fact that many of you think that probably this channel is related to web scraping, it's not. It's related to the way I develop myself, my life, my path, and so on. So it's about the relative changes of what was before and what happened after. That's what the Code Monkey Kings channel is all about, basically, as it turns out through the time. So And now probably the most, so you might consider everything that I've said so far, you might consider that to be a very, very, very big intro, because I just couldn't allow myself to start with kind of like, okay guys, hey, what's going on guys, Komakikins here, and in this video we're gonna be watching how I read in Korean, and there we go. Like, what the heck is going on? So I just really wanted to give some explanations and some circumstances behind this changes. That's the reason, right? So yeah, that's just the reason. That's quite pretty it. But again, like, just to be absolutely honest and transparent, I want to say that the reason that I've described here, I feel like it would disappear. I don't know, probably in a month it would disappear completely. It doesn't mean that I will drop the idea to promote Korean chess to Koreans in Korean. I don't say that, but I just want to say that even if that doesn't work, that won't stop my motivation, because I have some internal motivation for doing this. And you know, like, Komakikin's channel was always about how to learn, how to pick up the very gist of whatever programming language, framework, how to use things to fit your needs and not to fit the best practices, right? So it's about the way to learn, right? So I think this would be quite pretty fun to see how I would be learning from scratch. So yeah, I think that would be quite pretty interesting. So at this point, I think I am done with this kind of intro. I don't know, probably this intro would be the major part of the entire video, but starting from this exact moment, I think I can just finally I can relax and start talking about something that is really interesting to me. So about the Korean language. So it started, so yeah, let's say that I have answered the very first question on Komakikin's interview, like what I've been up with so far. So I hope I've covered that in great details. So let's say that I have answered the question of why do I want to learn Korean. While again, like, I can't explain this, to be honest. I just feel that is just where the flow is taking me. That's all I can say. If to be absolutely honest, that's the only thing I can say. And now, starting from this exact moment and within the further videos, I'm sorry guys, it's just really hard to switch from explaining the reasons behind something and then actually start talking about this something. So this Korean is something that I want to be talking about in the next videos, and all I've been talking about so far is the reasons behind it. So I just wanted to say this once and forever and never come back to that, because from now on I only want to talk about Korean and how I learned that. So probably, I don't know, well, maybe when I learn Korean that would be something else. So no one knows what would it be, what else can appear on Komakikin's channel, including me as well. So let's go. So you know, like, English was probably the subject that I could have picked up back in the day when I was a kid, relatively with no efforts. It was very natural for me to learn it. I don't know why did that happen. It's really hard to say. I was extremely bad in math, you know that, but for some reason English was kind of like easy to me, right? And well, probably English is something where I went through, let's say, traditional path of learning, right? So like starting from the very basics and then up to the fluency basically, and then after like the recent years just completely self-taught stuff. Like I mean, like I don't know, just it's always the matter of improving what you currently have. If you don't improve, you're just stuck where you are. And there was just a point in English when I've realized that it's no longer enough for me it's no longer enough for me that people just do understand what I say, and I really wanted to start sound more like native speakers sound. That was the goal that I'm still working on, like daily basically. I mean, like I'm not doing something specific to achieve that, but I'm just listening to native speakers and then I try to talk like they do. So quite a fun thing that I thought I'm so cool that I would be able to pick up Korean like, I don't know, maybe not in 2 or 3 days, but maybe around a month or so. So I was so ambitious and that was so funny. And you know, I guess I completely forgot about the fact how I started learning English back in the day. Because if you ask me now, like about, I don't know, like grammar rules or some specific, I don't know, yeah, let's say even the grammar rules. I do remember that there are tenses in English, but if you will ask me to list those, I probably won't be able to do so because I just don't remember the theory completely. And in learning English in particular, I kind of had 2 phases. So the first phase was when I was thinking in my I don't really want to say this word native language. Unfortunately, it is. I'm not proud of that at all. I don't like my native language at all. I don't consider that to be my native language. But I was when I just started, I was thinking in Russian and then I was translating to English. And this was the first phase. And the second phase began when actually learn to think in English, because it's quite different from thinking in Russian. It's quite pretty different. But thinking in Korean, I can hardly imagine how on earth is that possible actually. But what I do realize now at the moment is that thinking in Korean is way different compared to thinking in English. So I don't know why I was so ambitious. I just thought that I would be able to easily come up with a language. I started watching videos, you know, like everything I learned from YouTube. So I did subscribe to. Let's have a look. Let's close this one. Don't talk. Sorry. Yeah, so here she is. So this is the Korean girl I'm learning from. Yeah, by the way, she left YouTube just like I did a month ago. So she got a job just like I did. Yeah, everything the same. But before that, she has produced really lots of fantastic tutorials on Korean. And what I love the most about her channel, it reminds me of my own channel in the way how she structures the material. So she has these all Korean lessons in order. So starting from learning Hangul, which is the Korean alphabet, and then up to the grammar rules. First she covers the grammar in general, and then she goes in greater details. So first she emphasizes the 7 major parts of Korean grammar, and then she dives deeper into the details basically. But I just don't really want to list those in this particular video because I will probably start doing this. I will probably start doing that starting from the next one. Yeah, because still this is anyway. This video would still be kind of like an intermediate step between the previous step that I did so far and the thing that I'm currently doing. But anyway, I really love the way she structures the material, and you know, like I started watching the videos just to give an idea why I was thinking that this is so easy, because I learned Hangul, as Korean alphabet, it's only 24 symbols there, so Google Translate is now my best friend. So if you just have a look at the Korean keyboard, this is it. So all the characters, if you just press shift, it just has the double consonants, like only this for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only this 5 basically, yeah. That's a bit, also the vowels getting changed a little bit. So 24 in general, these are combined already, but the basic are only 24 characters. In Hangul, in English there are 26 letters. In Hangul it's even slightly bit less compared to English. And I can now type in Korean, so I can type the word like I. So in Korean this would be 저는. So j it's like I in official or formal form. Don't say the Google Translate, it doesn't mean much. And if I say 는, which is the particle, so me, I am, that's how it's translated, and so on. Then goes the word order and things like that. So the idea is that actually learning these characters was relatively easy. I would say just one day. I took a pen and a paper. I was writing them until I learned how every sound of them, and then I just started trying to read them. So just to give you a little bit of idea. So how they pronounce. So this is pronounced like b, this is like j, this is like d, g, s, u. This is. It's outside of the context. It's really hard. Well, this guy is really hard to pronounce outside of the context. So when they come in the, this kind of yo, but it doesn't always sound the same, I would say. This one is like ya. Well, this let's start from this. So these are the vowels. So we have e, a, o, u, and this like followed by e, which sounds like and this one like e followed by like the opposites also sounds something like this sounds ya, because like but with a y sound, like ya. This like this yo, this like you, but actually no, like yo, and this one like you, and the consonants like b, j, like j. They use j letters, so like, but it's not like jangi. It's not jangi. It's jangi. Jangi. It's I pronounce this horribly wrong, but it's interesting sound. So d, g, s, m, n. This one is interesting. This is the placeholder, the empty sound. At the beginning of the phrase it's not read, but at the end of the phrase it's kind of like in, like I'm doing, reading. This n, this is how it's read, like n. This is interesting letter. It's at the end it's called like l, like chol, il. If it goes before the vowel, it goes like r, like a bit similar to Russian r. So that's how it sounds. H, most likely quite often not pronounced at all. So this is k. It's similar to g, but more like k. And this d, this like t, and this like j or z, and this like t or ch. It's been different. This one b, this one p, this one you, and so on. And this one like there is a Russian sound e, which is probably more like u or whatever else, but it's like more like like if we say this n, so n, n, so we have jenen, so something like that. So it was relatively easy. Well, just to give you an idea, let's just take a phrase. So like the vocabulary on the one hand, then the grammar on the other hand. What is interesting about Hangul that you can read and like you don't understand, but you can read. And for me personally, as a code monkey king, that's absolutely amazing. So let's say I just don't know what this means, and we don't take the grammar constants like the endings and all this stuff. So we can just read through this. So we say like Junin Hag. Well, this is not pronounced like this. Would be like Hag, Hag, and the sound drops there, like not Hag but Hag, and then like I would say. So this is like I, right? It's like San Ip Nida. Again, Janin Janin Ha Sain입니다. Yeah, let's listen.
저는 학생입니다.
학생입니다. Yeah, so I always try to read first and then listen how they should be pronounced. Well, although Google Translate is not the best ever resource on how to pronounce properly, but at very least it's pronounced in like not that fast as the native speakers, because when I listen to native speakers, for me it's like like something like that. So I can only hear the endings and then just some gibberish in between. So it's not really that great idea. But Google Translate at least doesn't speak that fast, so it's at least can listen to the pronunciation. So yeah, I know I really suck in reading Hangul characters, but like the fact that you visually recognize all the characters, it's already like something that keeps your motivation really, because like this is the easiest part of Korean, I would say. So this is really like the easiest part. And the way that I did learn this character is just in one day. Actually, this made me think that I'm so cool that I can't really go fast through this. But then the real tough thing has actually started. So I totally forgot how like in the past how I was using notebooks to learn the language itself. Basically, I'm in English, and I did recall my memory. And today I bought 2 notebooks, one for vocabulary and another for grammar. So I just want to show you this, guys. And here are my notebooks. Here they are. Okay. Fortunately, only Paris and Barcelona and Paris, not Seoul or something. So here we have the dictionary. So I do write Hangul characters really a lot. So this is one of my favorite practices, by the way. So every new word I encounter, I do write here. So I write the word in Hangul and then just the English, what it means in English. And quite tricky thing starts already here, because like the way how the words are translated from Korean to English, it doesn't obviously mean that, I don't know how to say that. I mean, there is no direct interaction, or how to call it. No direct translation. I mean, the way. Okay, so let's how to say this basically. so when you're talking in a language, well, let's say you have some thought, okay, and bear in mind the fact that Korean thought would be completely different from English thought. So you will need to make this thought to become a word or a sentence. And let's say a word. So you want to make this thought to become a word. And in that case, the way how Koreans think about things and the way how English speaking people think about things are totally different. I'm sorry, I just can't give you a particular examples now, and you don't need to trust me with this. This is just my experience. So the reason is that, well, even if we drop the fact that let's say the syllable with some specific sound might have up to, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, so that's very tough on its own. Some short syllables like mak, bak, this can mean really lots of things in Korean, but it's not but it's not even the worst evil. So yeah, no, I just probably I can find, yeah, hold on a sec, yeah, I can find an example. So there are two words like or hold on a sec, yeah, please, this one, please, okay, this one, please. So in Korean this is read as 주세요, 주세요. And another one is help. This one, can you see it? This one. And this one is read as 도와주세요. And this 주세요 is exactly the same characters. So here, exactly the same characters here as we have here in please. And let's say if we want to say have a look, it's also using this 주세요, like please, like 이것을 주세요. That's how to call have a look in Korean. So you might wonder that it means like have a look please, but no, it's translated like have a look. So like the idea that this, well, let's say this 주세요, so I mean the way how you formulate the word, it's totally different compared to how it works in English. I'm sorry, I have very limited experience at the moment to explain that, but that's just a beginners, a total noobs, total beginners kind of feedback to the language. So and the major disaster with this is that it's incredibly difficult to, like, it's, for me personally, it's almost impossible to memorize this. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So just to compare how I was learning English and how I'm learning Korean now. So in English, I remember that I just needed to walk through the process of memorization of the words. So let's say like to work, to do, to go, like the verbs, right? And then I know that work is like go is go, went, gone, do, like do, did, done, like what else, and so on. So this is I don't even remember how to properly call this forms of the verb depending on the tense, like the present and past and the like no not the present, the past. It's like three forms, yeah, but they are used. Oh my god, I forgot the theory completely. There's three forms of verbs in English, of verbs in English are used for different tenses. Like for the past, we use the second form of the verb, like I did, I went, and for the third, and for perfect tense, we use the third part, like I've done, he has gone, and so on. So yeah, but that was something that was, I would say, easy to memorize. There was some hidden logic behind that. It was kind of fine to memorize that, but these Korean words are completely unmemorizable. I don't know how to call it. It's incredibly. So I have quite pretty. So just to give you an idea. So yeah, these are all the words I have. So these are all the words I have. It's just a few sheets here for various topics. Yeah, but the only one I remember is the hello. There's 안녕하세요, and I remember Janin, which stands for I in official form, and I remember 나는. This is me in unofficial form. 너는 is you in unofficial form, and I don't remember how it sounds, but it sounds similarly when I want to say my or our. It's also similar to na, but it's not the case. I just wanted to say that I have revealed a very tricky phenomenon while learning Korean. You know, like, I would say the way how I was learning English is not acceptable to learn Korean. I know this might sound weird, but the patterns apply to English and the patterns apply to Korean are totally different. So you can apply English patterns to Korean, and I also can apply Russian patterns to Korean as well. By the way, I could apply Russian patterns to English, and that was quite pretty trivial because Russian patterns are probably way more complicated. Yeah, like from the grammar perspective, at least. So it's much more complicated. But Russian patterns are fine with to like overlap to English patterns, while neither Russian or English patterns are not compatible with Korean patterns. So I've realized that you can learn Korean as if it was an English, just another English, right? It's totally different, not because of the grammar and not because of the words themselves, but just because of these patterns behind them. And I've realized that without understanding those patterns, there won't be any progress. And here is the one of the very tricky things, that the words that I actually did learn in Korean so far already, I didn't really intend to learn them. So just to give you an idea, when I was watching these tutorials by Miss Vicky, but by the way, Miss Vicky, yeah, her Korean name is Sim. That's her Korean name. Sim. Let's ask Google Translate. So my version is Vicky Sam. Or Vicky Sam. No, probably it's another Konglish. I think this Vicky Sam. No, I think this is just a phonetical, a Korean equivalent of the English word Wiki. Yeah. Her Korean name is different. She shared that once in one of the videos. Yeah, this doesn't sound like a Korean name. This doesn't sound, and even, yeah, it just translated to a gibberish. No, it's not a Korean name. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. No, it's not her name. Well, at least it doesn't look like a normal Korean name. I don't know how I know that, where I know that from, but just Korean names like are different. like Kim Se-won, or I don't know, whatever. So and when she was explaining some Korean grammar specific terms, she was naming those terms in Korean. And one of the words she was saying really numerous number of times is patsim. So patsim is some sort of an ending in. Let me just trying to show you. Well, let's say this word big. So this the lowest character. This is g, but it's not pronounced here, and this is known as patsim. And you know the magic of Korean, like like I don't know how to translate. So she translates this patsim as she did translate this somehow. I don't remember how did she translate that, but what I've realized that when she used that word, she didn't really tell you to learn that word, or you didn't even emphasize that. She was just calling the word because it was natural for she's Korean. It's natural for her to use that word, right? And she was always saying this patsim, 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 and I've memorized that. And despite the fact that I can't properly translate that to English, I do know that this is something about the ending, like within the syllable. This single character, like this might be treated as a syllable. Like I mean, there are three characters formulated in a single syllable. That probably would be the right way to say the proper way to say this. And this g, which is not pronounced, which is like big key. Yeah, it's definitely it's just this is known as Konglish. Konglish is like Korean and English bundled in one. So in Korean, if you say if there is no an equivalent word in the language itself, they do use the words that they do use English words, and just they sound in Korean way. Let's say like ko mankikin. I was trying to translate ko mankikin to Korean. Well, mankikin is translated to normal Korean, but code, there is no word code in English in Korean, believe it or not. So they use the kode, something like kode. I'm not sure if I am capable to write that, but let's give it a try. So it's code like this. Yeah, code. Yeah, cool. Okay, so code.
코드.
Yeah. So this is how they say the code. If you say like source code, there is no word source code in Korean, but that would sound something like source code, like that. So it's really cool. Or say coffee. There is no word coffee in Korean. So in Korean it's called kapi, kopi. I don't remember how to write that. I will now try. So this should be like kopi. Okay, nosebleed is definitely not a copy. So another tricky thing about Korean, like I remember that it wasn't a movie Rush Hour with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, when Chris Tucker was trying to speak Chinese, but it was so weird that the Chinese people were confused by what he was talking about, because they were thinking he's saying something what he thinks, and on the real deal was absolutely different. So it's absolutely fine in Korean or in Chinese if you say like, give me the salt please, and on the real deal you say something like, get away, get a hell way, get a hell way out of here, right? So it might be so different. So yeah, that might be really different. So copy, copy. Oh man. Oh, hold on a sec. This should be cool. Copy. Yeah, cool. Copy. Nope. Oh, no, hold on a sec. What did I do? No, it should be hold on. Yeah, copy. Now this is correct. Copy. Yeah. By the way, the copy, like copy something, this would be like, if I'm not mistaken, this would be like copy, right? Yeah, copy. See, like ka, this is this is copy, like just like it sounds in English, copy. But coffee would be copy, like this, like copy, like this. So yeah, this typing in Korean is a lot of fun to me. I've installed the Korean keyboard into my smartphone, and this is real fun to play around with that. So when you can type in Korean in the smartphone, that's really fun. So yeah, that's how it works. So what I was talking about, guys. I just lost my thought. So I've been watching tutorials. Oh yeah. So I was watching these tutorials, and well, let's say this patsim, the term, the grammar, maybe not even the grammar term, but the term describing this ending of. By the way, there is no patsim in these words. So let's say I would say like Korean. This would be hanguk in Korean. So if I just say like hanguk, and guk is the particle that this is called, I don't remember, object or subject marking particle, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why this like strange translation. So just to say Korea, it would be probably Minguk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a little bit or Mi Hanguk maybe. Yeah, probably this would be Mi Hanguk. No, so some weird nonsense. I don't remember, but I just remember that when I wanted to say like Korean chess, this would be like Hanguk Jangi. So patsim is this down part, this N is patsim, and this G is patsim. So N is pronounced while this G is not pronounced, and based on the nature of this patsim, they can say patsims in plural. That's nonsense, but the nature of this patsim varies when some endings are added to the verbs, in case if that is the verb or adjective, and adjectives are treated as the verbs in Korean, which is another interesting feature of the language itself. So if I'm just capable to write Korean chess, so Jangi, Jan, and this is in sound, in Jangi, and gi like this. Yeah, Korean chess. So Hanguk Jangi. So Hanguk means Korean, but outside of the context, it's just like, so the translation goes horribly wrong. So Google Translate is cool, but it's not always goes that precise, like in whatever else language, by the way. So yeah, Hanguk Jangi. And let's say engine, there is no word engine in Korean, so again, like Konglish is used in this case. So this would be engine, like this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, engine. It turns to organ for some reason, I don't know, but this is actually Hanguk Jangi engine. This like Korean chess engine. I hope this is the proper way of calling this. Yeah, so this is the engine, engine. This is it. So Another interesting thing, like in Korean, we have this so-called formal and informal forms for the verb the verb endings, and the idea is that informal form is used for those to interact with those people you're close with, like your friends, your close friends, maybe your family or your girlfriend, things like that. And formal form is used like for some formal events, like or some public events maybe, or if you're talking to the strangers, or if you're talking to someone who is older than you or you don't know or you want to show the extra respect to. In that case, we use so-called formal. But I remember how this is in Korean. So panmal is informal and chundemal is formal form. And again, like I didn't really intend to learn these words like panmal and chundemal. But she was this girl, this Miss Vicky. She was saying this like panmal, chundemal so many times, and eventually I learned those words. Yeah, and another probably like useful word I learned that she was pronouncing many times as well for some reason, like magda, which means for to eat. So magda is magda. This is the so-called vocabulary form of the word. It's like to eat. Throat. Did I spell it? Did I spell it in the wrong way? Sorry guys, yeah, this is so confusing. So I'm still can be like this. Yeah, can be like this. So how is that? To it. Oh, it should be. Hold on a sec. Sometimes Google Translate is tricking you, really. Oh my god, this is Ukrainian boxer Klitschko. Da. Oh my god, I didn't think about it. Oh, what a fun thing. Okay, so well, this should be like this. Magda. This should be it. Magda. Hold on, guys. I'm really interested. This should be like to eat. Hold on a sec. Like to eat. Oh, Magda, not Magda, but Magda. Yeah, this is different. Yeah, this is yeah, Magda, not Magda. Yeah, it's like Magda. This sounds a little bit different. I remember like this is quite similar, but all these tiny little details. Yeah, it's really complicated. So yeah, that's what I remember phonetically. So it's quite pretty interesting that these three words like patsim, which stands for this down part here at the end of the syllable, like pamal, chundemal, like like informal and formal form of the verb. I'll show you them. Like well, actually, in informal form, we just have the verb conjugated to its to the specific tense, like present tense or future tense or past tense. I really suck in this at the moment. I'm just learning that on my own, so I can't really. And yeah, by the way, you never should treat this Korean blog videos as tutorials or something. It's just I don't know. This is just kind of like a blog on how I learn it on my own. I'm not teaching anyone at any point because I don't know it myself as well. Yeah, I just think that talking about this is just a good way to update the material in my memories. So in informal form we don't have any specific endings, but in informal form we don't have any specific endings in the sentence, but in formal form we do have two. It's ayo and sumnida, and 비읍받침 합니다. So it's like I see the words that are specific to grammar and not to the language. Like this 비읍받침 is 비읍 is the name of this letter. By the way, I didn't memorize the names for the characters. So this one is called 비읍. This one is called 기읍. This don't remember. This apparently gi읍. I'm not sure. So I remember this one. So this biup, piup, giuk, and because she was pronouncing this really lots of time, and she was saying like biupatsim, and I remember like when this character is the very last one in the syllable, that's what she's talking about when she says this biupatsim. And this something that stands in the head. This gets memorized for some reason, while something that you want to memorize is not getting memorized. So this is very interesting. And I don't know, I think the way to go is not try to, let me explain. So when I was learning English and when Russian was the only language I was speaking, that was going the following way. So it was like, okay, so I need to compose a sentence in Russian. Okay, so I just started doing this. So like I decompose it, and then I'm starting to translate this sentence to English. It goes horribly wrong and weird because in English you don't speak the way like you speak in Russian, right? And then you're trying to change that sentence so it sounds more naturally like in English speaking world. And it takes time because you think in Russian, then you do translate, and then you do change the sentence to make it sound more naturally. And that's the reason why I wasn't fluent in the past, because you can be fluent only in the case if you think in the language you're talking in. If you're not thinking in that language, you just can't be fluent. And with but with Russian, it wasn't really that crucial. In Russian, you could just be not really that fluent, but it was quite pretty stable in terms of like you compose the phrase in Russian, and then you just translate it to English. Then you just try to change that to sound more naturally, so it would sound more naturally, and that's it, right? But in Korean, it doesn't work. So let's. I realized that if you just compose the phrase in English and then you translate this to Korean, and Google Translate has a very fun thing, like if you translate back and forth several times, the meaning might change. So I don't promise that I can show this directly, but maybe it works. So something that I was trying to translate is my casual word, like code monkey kins here. So code monkey kins here, right? And okay, from English to Korean. What the hell is this? So from English to Korean. Come on. Google Translate went crazy for some reason. Okay, let's go again. You kidding me? Okay, code. Come on. Okay, code. Monkey. Yeah, now works. Kins here. So it translates. So let's read what it does translate. So yeah, it's total nonsense. So first of all, it translates to Konglish, not to Korean. So it says like kudu monkey kin or yagi. Yagi is here, means here. So the only Korean words is this one, yagi. Kinui. Yeah, this is the ending. So kudemanki kinui. This is all crap. It's not what I meant actually. So if you just have a look at the monkey king itself, so monkey king without anything else would it be this one. So this is the verified translation, which is in most cases this is I'm sorry, this is kind of something you can trust. So monkey king, one sunny one. So one sunny is the monkey and one is the king. And now well, if here we do this like going back and forth, it's just fine. So let's go like is here, but again like he translates Yegi Susunida. So this Susunida is I'm sorry, is Susunida. This is just the formal ending, a very formal ending, I would say. And I can't explain it, but did you ever encounter a situation where you have a look at how Google Translate translates your native language and you realize that this translation sucks? I think everyone has that experience, right? So even not knowing Korean, I can say that this is not what I wanted to say. Okay, so let's translate. Yeah, quite a fun thing that in this case it doesn't actually change. It seems like it's translating properly, but just to give you an idea, I've been hacking around with this phrase for I don't know, several hours maybe, and eventually I came up composing my own phrase. So this is it. So hello, 안녕하세요. 그대 원수원이 이해원 얘기 왔다다, right? Yeah, this is it. Let's listen to this. Okay, 그대 원수원이 이해원 얘기 왔다다. Okay, let's check.
코드 원숭이의 왕 여기에 왔더라.
Yeah. Almost the same, let's see. Okay, so yeah, this is it. And so you see this is different. So Code Monkey King has come here. This is not perfect yet as well, but this kind of feels a little bit more natural. So like it's like if you've been learning English, and if you're not native English speaker, if you speak like whatever language, if you've been learning English and you probably heard from your teachers or from, I don't know, from who could you hear this from, but you could have heard that it's grammatically correct. However, it's not said like that in English, right? So that's the case. So something that Google Translate can translate, let's say you say something in English, you want to translate this exactly to Korean, and what Google Translate does, it does translate that in English, it does translate English to Korean properly from the grammar rules perspective. However, it doesn't mean that it's okay to say like that in Korean. Okay, so that's the major issue. So I just want to say that when I was learning English, it was quite pretty okay to think in Russian and then to translate in English and then to alter the sentence, and that's the way to go. While in Korean, it simply seems to be impossible, because if you want to say something in Korean, the way how you think would be totally different compared to the way how you think in English. So if in Russian and in English this kind of similar, it's just a bit different, but generally it's similar, while in English and Korean it's not similar. That's how I feel, at least. I don't claim anything here. I'm just a beginner, so don't claim anything. But that's how I feel, basically. So what kind of conclusion can we come up with regarding this stuff is that for me personally, it's very fun thing that the more I learn Korean, the more I realize that I don't know anything. So in English, it was on the contrary. It was like every day you learn some new words, some new phrases, and you feel like you're starting knowing more and you start talking and going better and better. But in Korean, like the more I learn, I still can't compose a sentence. I already know how to compose a sentence in present tense. I know some, so in order to do this, we need, so the order would be the subject, the object, and then the verb. That's the general structure for Korean sentences. If you just drop adjectives and adverbs and anything else, just the bare, like, subject, object, verb. However, despite the fact that I do know some nouns, some particles, some subject marking particles like nun, some object like nun and un, some object marking particles like öl, örül, and like some verbs, and the present tense, which ends up with just, okay, I don't remember how it ends without in pammal, but in chundamal it ends with eyo or sunida. So, but even with this knowledge, when I try to compose a sentence, I completely stuck. Because when I do that, I just feel that, like, it feels like you're doing something horribly wrong. So, I don't know why, but the pattern that I'm trying to apply is actually the English pattern. And let's say I learned, I don't know, what example, like I study Korean, let's say, just let me reference my grammar notebook. I just want to find this. Okay, let's take this one. So I speak Korean. Here it is. So this would be 저는 한국어로 저는 한국어로 말해요. And 저는 is I. 저는 is I. 한국어로 is Korean. And speak in, this one, actually, so yeah, the verb in present tense would be this 말해요. Let me just write this for you guys, just to give you an idea. So this verb 말해요, 말해요. Yeah, this yo is chundemal. Well, it translates as tell me, yeah, but here I have this like speak in. So again, like, it's absolutely weird. So you see, like, it translates like tell me. So probably it's valid to say this, like, again, Mario. Yeah, I was correct in the first time. Mario. Yeah, and probably this is valid to say tell me, I'm not sure, but it would just go for a complete word, like the like a complete phrase like this. 저는 so then object marking particle, 저는 Korean. So 한국 hanguk. I'm still wondering whether the guk is the particle or not. It looks like a particle, very similar to this nun, but it's another tricky thing. So so it feels like it's a particle, but sometimes they are used within inside the word. Sometimes they're not. I mean, no, this is the separate. This is the verb. So the subject. Here we go the object and then the verb. So here, well, the particle usually ends either the subject or the word or the object, but here we have this hanguk and it's not the end, so it's like hanguk and then ro, 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 ro.
저는 한국어로 말해요.
Yeah, 한국어로. So I did pronounce almost correctly. 한국어로 말해요. 저는 한국어로 말해요. 저는 한국. Oh my god. 저는 한국어로 말해요. 저는 한국어로 말해요. Yeah, 저는 한국어로 말해요. Yeah, and the 준말 form. So, you see, like it starts being like I speak Korean. So I speak. So here, like outside of the context, it's like tell me, and here, it's like I speak. So it's very tricky to figure out, like so. And again, like this is just this is the present tense of the verb itself. So there is so-called vocabulary form for Korean, and it's called ends up. Well, I might be wrong, but as I understand, it ends with da. So this would be 말다, right? But for some reason, it translates this as ral and not as nope. Roll, nope. So to speak. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to reference my. I just need to reference my vocabulary. So I have to speak here. Just yeah, because some basic words that you really come to all of the time. So where are my verbs? Adjectives? No, hold on a sec. The verbs. Yeah, here are the verbs. So to come, to have, to eat, to drink, to see, to. Don't I have to speak? Oh, come on, can't be that. To work, to see, to give, to drink, to eat, to be, to have, to come, to go. Sleep, to get up, to buy, use, to laugh, to cry, to worry, to read. I don't have to sleep. You kidding me? I don't have to sleep. Oh my god. How is that possible? Okay, so in that case, if as far as I don't have that, so let's try to think how that could be. I study, I sleep, I work. I just wanted to show the vocabulary form, but yeah, already so you see how tricky it is. So I just try to strip the present tense ending and replace this with the vocabulary ending, but it gives me totally wrong translation. So you see how tricky it is, basically. So grammar is very tricky in Korean. Okay, so let's try again. I speak. I just lost that. Okay, here it is. So 말해요. So let's try again. Let's try to go for 말. So I think like 말다. Okay, words, say it. 말해. Yeah, just speaking. Okay, maragi, maragi. In this case, this would be like like R, I believe. Maragi, nonsense. Again, like you just have a look, guys. You just have a look at this. Okay, I'm sorry. Just have a look at this. The verb stems. They call stems like the root of the verb. So how the verb stems. What kind of different words it's creating. It's so amazing. So just have a look. This is some of the examples I wanted to share with you. So I didn't even think that would be possible. So let's go for this mal. Okay, so mal. Oh man, what have I done? What have I done? Okay, again. So mal. And yeah. So okay. So here in my notebook I have this like I speak Korean. So this maleo, it should be like speak, right? And like in English the word speak doesn't contain the word inside. While in Korean, you see like this mal without anything else is ready to be words, which already, so it's like words serves as the noun, and it also serves as the verb. This is interesting, right? And let's say it, you have this male and speaking maragi, and nonsense. You have a look at this. What a fantastic maldo on nonsense. So the word nonsense also has this words like words that don't make sense apparently. So again, like, so the nonsense is in English is something related to a lack of a sense, but the word sense is not related to the word itself, right? It's just it's sense. Sense is one, word is different. This is two different words basically. But you see, like in Korean, how interesting this is, guys. How interesting this is. So we have this single character stands for words, and it's already so different. So okay, I still try. Unfortunately, just adding the at the end doesn't seem to. It just goes for some crap. It's not what I want completely. So okay, let's try to speak. Let's try to see what it gives us for to speak. Yeah, you see like this da marada. Yeah, this is it. So yeah, actually it's not enough to use only this mal, it's mara, like, and here we have mare. So yeah, just to give you an idea, guys, so this is one of the trickiest things I'm currently struggling with. So this is say or to say. This is known as the vocabulary form, and I would say we go for present tense. This would be mal. Actually, it's pronounced as r, I believe. Ma and h. So it's the same, but a turns to ae. So well, this is a, and then we just put extra I here, but this is treated as the single character, like in this button. But actually, this is a. So this a followed by e, and this happens. And let's say followed by e goes to this character, and same for this double characters like here. Okay, so mal and in pamal we can ignore, so we in informal form we cannot add in the yo. So this is not like say it. Okay, so it's like malda and mario. Mara, yeah, Mara. Let's listen. So this should be malada, malhada, and this should be 말해.
말하다 말해.
Yeah, I guessed 말하다, but 말해, not 말해. Okay, so 말해. Yeah. So it's always tricky. So the same verb, but in the vocabulary form and in the present tense form, they kind of different. And well, actually, I need to say that, well, especially this girl actually explained this perfectly well. Well, you know, like, when I watch her videos, I clearly understand everything, but when I stop watching her videos and trying to compose a sentence on my own, I suck really, because I just can't do it, believe it or not. So I don't know why that happens. Yeah, but probably because of the pattern. So you've just seen, guys, that all of this, the patterns behind how to compose a single word is totally different from English. So let's say like words like nonsense, it contains actually a word in it. So that's very interesting, right? And I've realized that if in like Russian to English it was possible to think in Russian and then translate to English and then correct the sentence, while in English it's total nonsense. So if you know, like, if you try to speak in English and then translate to Korean, you can memorize it, but you won't be understanding that. And another fun thing that I've realized, that if you just put a phrase in English into Google Translate and translate it, and if you then try to compose that sentence on your own, it always might be quite pretty absolutely different words in it. I know this sounds weird, but that's how it happens to me, at least for now. So I would say that Korean itself, it feels like it has some sort of a guidelines of how to say things and how to express your thoughts, which is totally different from English. And for me personally, again, like, as I've been mentioning before, it's all the matter of the flow. And to enable the flow itself, so this flow is based on the patterns, and without feeling the patterns, it just stuck, the energy stuck inside, it doesn't flow. So the problem is to reveal those patterns and to learn those patterns and then to apply those patterns, and then this internal flow would actually start flowing, and in that case the language would start getting learned naturally, easily and naturally. And these words, like I said, like patsim, pamal, chundumal, like, which she didn't really mean to teach, but they were so naturally flowing that they do get insight. So I didn't try to memorize them, but they do get insight without any effort. And on the contrary, like those I try to memorize, I still can memorize them. So just to finish this video finally, the very last thing I want to say, and yeah, I'm really happy that I came up with the thought. It's one of the plausible things of this blog, I believe, that you can actually I've just managed to concentrate the thought that I had in mind, but I couldn't express that probably. So you can just go straight ahead and start composing English and start composing sentences in Korean, and all you need for that is just you need to know the nouns that serves as objects, and the subjects and objects, and also you need to know some verbs, and actually that's enough already to compose a sentence. And let's say you want to compose only in the present tense, so you only need to know the endings, and you can drop say chundumal, like a formal form for just for simplicity. But I believe if I just try to do that, like how I understand the pattern, but actually that's the English pattern, not the Korean one. And if I try to fit, like, take the pattern and try to fit different nouns and different verbs to the same patterns, let's say just like I work or I learn or I sleep or whatever. Well, maybe these are too simple. But if you just try to put something instead of I and something instead of eat, sleep, and so on, and it just goes weird, and you understand that you don't know how properly to say that, but you feel like I don't know. I just feel that goes wrong. I don't know the language, but I just feel that goes wrong. That feels just so unnatural. And when I was watching the videos by Miss Vicky, so she was mentioning that later on, that sometimes, well, she actually, as the Korean native speaker, she explains that very well. Like she explains like this is not said like that in Korean. So in Korean we'll say it a bit differently. So I would say that there is no a direct translation from English to Korean because the patterns behind the languages are totally different. And in case if we actually do have like this kind of like direct translations, for me personally, it's more like a dictionary conventional stuff rather than the real deal, right? So it's more like a dictionary way of, like, dictionary should classify things. So like some conventions on how we translate this, how we translate that. And quite a fun thing that there are vocabularies that do translate Korean patterns to English, but it's really hard to find on the contrary. Like, so if you just try to use that, it doesn't work because it assumes that you have these Korean patterns and then you can switch to English ones. But if you have English patterns, it's totally unclear on how to get those Korean patterns. So the problem is not in getting like materials like grammar rules or vocabulary or pronunciation, whatever else. So many native speakers given these free Korean lessons, which is absolutely fantastic. But the major problem for me that I do face and I do encounter is the lack of the patterns, like how Korean is designed, how it works internally. And before I understand those patterns, I feel and I do understand that I'm kind of like not going anywhere. And all the kind of interviews that I've been watching from non-Korean, non-native speakers who did learn Korean, they all do mention this sort of a thing, that they call it maybe in a different ways, but it's all about the same. So like in English, like say for Russians, so they can speak English bad, then can speak English slightly better, they can speak it almost fluently, and like let's say like native speakers does, right? So they're kind of some grades, but for Korean it feels like there are no that grades. Maybe they are, I don't know, but it really feels like I do speak or I do not speak. And this is the matter of patterns, because when you have similar languages and more or less similar patterns, you can't go for this translation, right? But when the patterns are totally different, you just can't go for that translation. And the biggest challenge is actually to figure out how those patterns work. And unfortunately, I didn't yet find any materials actually pointing to those patterns. So I only see the reflection of those patterns in the tutorials, but not the direct pattern explanation on its own. So one of the major goals of my blog regarding how I do learn Korean would be about revealing these hidden patterns, trying to understand them, trying to explain them, and finally trying to apply the vocabulary words combined with the grammar to fit these patterns, because otherwise you would kind of like be sound like weird. You would be sounding weird. That might be still grammatically correct, but that would be weird. And it's not the problem that how you sound. It's not the problem that native speakers would tell, like, oh, he's a foreigner. He speaks like, as a crap. It's not a point. It's not a problem really. The actual problem is that if you speak that weird way, you don't feel the language, you don't feel the flow, and you always would be limited to, I don't know, to just like to become a smart Google Translate on your own, right? Maybe a bit smarter than the Google Translate itself, but still not that good. So the idea is not to translate, the idea is to learn to think in Korean. In order to do that, it's the matter of understanding these patterns. And the most exciting thing, and I just get done with it, that the patterns itself are not even related to language, I believe. It's something cultural, it's something internal, which I don't yet clearly understand. Probably would never understand that great, but there is something really. And I'm currently looking for a proper practice to start revealing those patterns and hopefully later start applying some, I don't know, techniques maybe to practice those patterns. So that's kind of it, guys. So I don't know whether it was interesting or not, but at very least I can say that I just tried to show the format of the further videos. I mean, the second part when I started talking about Korean. So this was a very, very general thing. So I would be trying to focus on some specific points that I would be walking through as the beginner on my own. I don't know, probably, I mean, these patterns might be applied to reading as well and so on. So I think this might be interesting, like to read and then to listen how the Google Translate reads that. So probably would be reading together. I would love to write together as well, but probably would limit ourselves to typing. Well, I love writing Hangul characters with a pen on a piece of paper. That's so calming, basically. That's so cool. So I really encourage you guys to do so if you learn Korean. This is absolutely essential, I believe. But again, like, the major thing is revealing these hidden patterns, and I really hope that this exact topic would be the most interesting, like, for those who do learn Korean as well. And I really, really hope that some people that do learn Korean from scratch, just like I do, probably we can kind of like come up together and just see how well does it go. So yeah, it's not about programming at all, but you know, like, saying about these patterns, I really want to say that Korean more looks like a programming language to me rather than just a language to speak in. For some reason, I don't know, it just feels like that. So yeah, I think this is it. Well, okay, guys, I'm sorry for talking for a bit too long. I didn't talk for quite a bit of time. I really wanted to share this stuff with you guys. So I'm sorry for not doing web scraping anymore. Please don't ask me. That won't ever to come, because just doesn't make any sense to me. But I think this learn Korean videos might be really interesting and on the cards. So this is it from my side. Hope to see you in the next videos as well. Yeah, until next time, guys, and take care. 안녕.